Well, hello, my little sugar snookums. Welcome to my first bullet journal setup video ever, because I've never had a bullet journal before. I mean, I've been trying it out for the last 2 months in like a test journal, but this is my actual bullet journal that I'm setting up according to writer Carol's bullet journal method. This is going to be my bullet journal for business and work and some house chores. And as you're able to tell by this little flip through on screen, I used a very minimal aesthetic. So if you like that, definitely come and grab your gear and come bullet journal with me for 2022. All right, let's go. So for my first business and work bullet journal, I decided to go with the bullet journal by Leuchtturm in collaboration with the writer Carol himself. I picked up the blush pink one and I really love the paper. It's so soft and smooth. It is 120 grams, so it works really well with my Tombow markers and my Sarasa mark-on pen, and it also works really well with fountain pens, like 3 pens that I love to use in my journals. So like I said, this is a bullet journal for my business and work, so you will not see collages in here or like the ones that you see in my personal journal videos. This is really gonna be very minimalistic because the emphasis in this bullet journal is getting shit done. So I started off with the intentions page, and instead of doodling something or drawing something, I decided to print out this quote. It says, "I am a millionaire," and I made it look like it was a Polaroid picture, and I added some washi tape to spruce it up because I'm not much of a doodler and I don't like drawing in my bullet journal, and especially this one is for work, so it needs to be very minimal and not distracting. However, this quote means a lot to me, and if you've seen my personal bullet journal setup, or my personal journal setup I should say, then you know what I'm talking about. And then we went over to our future log, and this is new to me. I've never ever had to set up a future log in my personal journal, and since I've never had a bullet journal for work and business before, it all felt a little awkward. And so I just followed writer Carol's method, and I used stamps to set the months, and I regret using the stamps because, as you will see later on, it didn't really stick to the page enough, the inked. So yeah, I think in my next bullet journal setup, I will definitely not use stamps like these, but I'll just, draw them or write them down with pencil and keep it even more minimal. It just seemed like such a good idea to use a stamp like this because it already had all of the squares and the check boxes, but as you can see, not very pretty. So I made a future log and I decided to put in the week numbers. Here in the Netherlands, I've noticed that a lot of people in the business world will ask you, "Hey, are you free in week 3?" And then I'd always get lost, and I was like, you know what? Let me put the week numbers in my bullet journal because I'm not using a planner this year, or I intend to not use a planner. So I really will be making my own planner/agenda in this journal by hand, and I need my week numbers. And since I've been doing business for quite a while now, I've gotten used to people asking me if I'm free in a certain week or if I can make an appointment in like week 12. And so I was like, yeah, let me put that in my future log because honestly, I don't know what else to do with a future log. Maybe put in a holiday or like birthdays of people that I love and like. I don't really know what to do with a future log, so yeah, maybe it's just not something I will use a lot. However, I did make one and I'm gonna see how it works for me this coming year, and maybe I'll skip it the next one or maybe I'll keep it. Obviously, when you run a business, keeping track of your profits, income, the things you spend your money on are very important, so I decided to create a very simple cover page. And I use this quote that says, "Get money first, fall in love later." Although if I meet my future husband now, I will not say no. However, I just thought it was a really cute quote. And it holds a lot of truth, especially for, I think, a lot of women who end up taking care of the children. And then, they have a gap in their resumes when they do finally get to work. So I was like, yeah, let's get money first, fall in love later. And I personally do not want children, so I won't have that problem. But I still like the quote, and I still think it's a good idea, just to make sure that you, as a woman or a man, or however you identify, that you always have enough financial freedom to take care of yourself. So, get your money first, fall in love later. So since I run a business, I obviously need to track how many customers we have, what I've been spending, what our profit is, and what our net profit is. So I decided to create a simple tracker for that. And I like this because I can keep track of everything or every amount of money per month. And I really like that. I think less is more, especially I see a lot of people making very intricate graphs and stuff, and that'll just make me lose my mind. So something simple as this will be enough for me, and then I hand all of the rest to my accountant, and he will make me this really nice overview for the entire year at the end of the year. So this is just for me as a motivation and a tracker in between the end results of every year. So I track the amount of members that we have because I have a membership website on which I sell social media content that is already done for you to small business owners in the Netherlands. So we need to track members and everything that we spend and that we save. And I finally made a header that I actually like that is quite minimalistic. So I just used a Tombow brush pen to create a little bit of a backdrop, and then I used my favorite typewriter font stamps to create the profits header, and I really like it. It's very simple but effective. Since a big part of my work is content creation, I also want to keep track of the social growth that we have on Instagram and on YouTube. We are heavily honing in on Instagram and YouTube, and the reason why I say we, not me, just we, is because when my business is busy, I usually have people on payroll, and we also always work with some freelancers, so I don't do everything by myself. And so when I give something to a colleague to do, like a task, I want to keep track of how well we're doing, especially when it comes to content creation, because we rely heavily on content marketing to get new subscribers to our membership website. So that's why that's very important to me. And I have multiple YouTube channels. So the main ones are my vlog channel, which is youtube.com/GaiaQuintana, which is my first name. So if you want to know what I do in daily life with minimalism and slow living, you can definitely check that out. Link is always in the first comment below. Then we have MTL. MTL stands for My True Life, which is the YouTube channel you're watching here. Then we have BMB. BMB stands for Build My Business, which is the name of my membership website. And then the last one is BMB Insta, so Build My Business Instagram account, where we attract a lot of new customers. And then again, I made that really simple header that I really like, although I made a little bit of a mistake because I put down the background layer after, so that's why you see a little bit of an empty spot at the G. And then we're going to our quarterly goals page. Now, I think this is very important for business owners, and this is like the social growth page and the profit tracker and this quarterly goals page are not by Ryder Carroll's method. These are my trackers. And since Ryder Carroll says that you have to customize your bullet journal to your liking, that's exactly what I'm doing with these spreads. And I saw this quarterly goal spread in someone else's video. I can't find her video anymore, but it was a very good idea to divide your year up into 4 quarters and then make sure you have a few goals per quarter. So in the video for next week, I will talk you through filling all of this in. So if you're interested in how I did my first setup for the first quarter, definitely come and check that video out next Sunday. And since we're talking business anyway, if you're also a business owner and you're watching this bullet journal video setup, I think it's really important to create goals that really match your business, not just take on someone else's goals or goals that are trendy. So my goals are very different than someone else's business goals, and I tend to do that very intentional because I don't want to chase someone else's dreams. I want to chase mine. So my goals need to match the life that I want to live in the future, the goals that I want to achieve right now, and I also want my goals to reflect the way that I like to work in my business. I also skipped a few pages before I came to this first January spread of 2022. First January spread. We only have one January. So I was like, you know what? Let me just keep on setting this up because January had already started. You may have noticed that the lighting in this video keeps fluctuating. That's because I filmed this video over several days. I was quite stressed. I felt really behind. I had a lot of work to do, so I had to film at night, and that's not my favorite time to film because then you get this artificial lighting, and I don't like it, but I hope it doesn't bother you too much. Maybe it's just the content creator in me that wants everything to be perfect. Anyway, I decided to create a small, simple collage for January because I do love collaging. And this is a collage that I can be proud of and not feel weird about if I take my bullet journal out at a business meeting. And I really like the picture which says, "We shall overcome," because that is literally how I feel after 2021. Like I have to overcome the first month of 2022, because if I survive this month, I feel like I can survive anything. And then on the right page, I am picking up Writer Carol's bullet journal method again, and this is my main events page. So this is what Writer Carol will call your timeline. I decided to call it my main events because I really want to make this bullet journal my own. I need to use terms that I understand, and so this would be called the timeline in bullet journal terms. So if you're looking for the timeline, this is it. And I decided to do the timeline next to the cover page for January because it will give me a quick overview. And what you're seeing me do on the right there is putting down the week numbers. This isn't something Writer Carol does, but it's something that I do because I like knowing in which week I'm living. So Writer Carol recommends using this page as a tracker after the events happened, but I also like to create a quick overview for myself because I do have a lot of recurring events like live streaming with clients. And so let's say I'm in a meeting and I want to know when I have a spot open, I can just check my main events and make sure I don't double plan something. You may have already recognized that this is not a typical bullet journal spread. That's because I created this one myself. I've been testing this one out for the last 2 months, and I'm basically creating an agenda or a planner from scratch. So I decided not to buy a planner that is already pre-printed with all the days of the week like I usually do. I decided to really create my agenda from scratch every week. So let's see how long I'll last. But I run an online business that is for 90% online. We do have an offline office, so I can have meetings there, but most of the stuff is online, so I don't really need a lot of space for like a planner. I also use this agenda alongside my Google Calendar for notifications. So yeah, I think I'll be able to set this up every week for the coming year. And if I don't, I'll let you know. But I do really like how it looks. It's very simple and minimalistic. I liked using the Tombow brush pen as a background for the days of the week. And you may have noticed that some of the words in my bullet journal are either English or Dutch. That's because I'm Dutch. And so I speak Dutch, I write in Dutch. That's my native language. However, I do also do a lot of stuff in English, so sometimes my brain automatically switches over to Dutch when something is easier for me in Dutch, like the days of the week. So that's why I have some things in Dutch and some things in English. Here you are looking at me setting up a productivity planner. This is also not a bullet journal thing. This is a Kaya thing. I learned about a productivity system through a podcast with Ali Abdul, and he was talking about this productivity system where you just focus on one task a day and all you do is that one task. So for example, on Monday you're just gonna create podcasts and that's all you do. And on Tuesday all you do is creating social media posts, and it's supposed to work really well for you. So I've been testing it for the last 2 months, and yeah, I haven't fully tested it because I still have been able to create like a rhythm for myself, but it has helped me to get more stuff done. So this is going to be my productivity tracker, and I will go in depth more in a separate video about this because I think people who use bullet journals love productivity tools, and this is such a good one if you have a similar brain like mine that cannot do too much at the same time. And since this is just a setup video, I will not fill in my productivity schedule right now. Like I said, I will do that in a video for next week, and then I'll give you like a quick overview of how I fill it in. And then in the future, I'll make a dedicated video about productivity tools like this one. I really like it. And I didn't fill this schedule in according to the monthly calendar. I just numbered everything so that I know on which day I am. And then right in the bottom, I made a legenda. I think in English, people call that an index. And then later on, I'll write down what I want to do per day and color code everything. So that is what the legenda is for. This page has nothing to do with the bullet journal method. This is another Kaya spread, and this is my food spread. So there are a few things that I will put in my work and business journal because I often take this one everywhere with me. So if I go to the office, I often make a pit stop at the grocery store. And if I have my bullet journal with me, I can easily check what I have planned for dinner or which ingredients I miss. And so I thought it would be a good idea to not put this in my personal journal, but in my bullet journal for work and business, because I bring this everywhere. So it's easy access to what I have in my fridge and what I need to buy when I'm on the road. So again, a very, very simple spread with breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the top there. And then on the left, I have the days of the week. And I have a very particular food schedule because I've been doing intermittent fasting for about 3 to 4 years now. And so some days I don't eat anything at all, and some days I eat a lot. So yeah, my food schedule is a little bit different, and I think I'll make a separate video about that as well. If you like that, definitely let me know in a comment below. On the right page, I drew an Alistair method graph? How do you call that? I don't know. But I was inspired by Claudia Kay. She has a very nice YouTube channel where she teaches how you can use minimal spreads and charts and graphs like this and methods to help you simplify your bullet journal. And so I watched her tutorial on the Alistair method and how she, put it down in her bullet journal. I thought it was a really good idea. I've been trying it out. I'm not really good at using this method yet, so maybe it's not for me, or maybe I just have to get the hang of it. So I decided to use it for my house chores and give it a try. And I called my second page a house chore page, and because it goes really well with my food tracking, I thought it would be good to put those two next to each other in my bullet journal to make sure that wherever I am, I know exactly what to do. And if I'm checking my journal for work tasks, I also get a glance at what needs to be done for my house so that I can't forget. I do really well with lists, and I also really like color coding things and marking things, so a simple chores list like this will work best for me. Alright, so on these next 2 pages, I'm picking up writer's bullet journal method again. I am creating a task list, and on the right, I'll be creating a daily log. And so I decided to use my own terms for my bullet journal instead of writers' titles or headers because it needs to make sense to me. So on the left page, instead of a task list, I'm going to call it a task dump so that I know that I can throw all of my tasks or ideas that I have to do or try, that I can just dump them on this page and not worry about the order, because I've tried to put down my tasks in order or per category, and it just doesn't work because sometimes you just shouldn't order everything or organize everything. So if I call it a dump, I know it doesn't matter that I dump everything on that page without a specific order. So it gives me peace of mind. I know it sounds a little weird, but it works for me. So on the right page, you can tell that on the right, I put down week 52 because I like to work with weeks. And then on the left, I started with December 1st of 2021. And because I was so tired and stressed, I wrote December 2022. So forgive my mistakes. I was already with my head in a new year, but that was supposed to be 2021. And here's a little flip through of my first ever bullet journal according to Writer's Method. I'm very happy about it. I'm very proud of myself for being able to create my own spreads within this method. I think I created a flow that'll really work for my brain and the way that I work and how I run my business. And if I ever change it up, I will let you know in a new setup video. If you have any tips on running a bullet journal for business and work, drop them down below because I love to learn. And if you like this video, definitely thumbs it up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to, you can tune in next week on Sunday where you can see how I'm filling this in. All of these trackers, I'm going to fill them in with you and tell you how I use them. And if you want to, you can watch the next video. So click on the screen, or I will see you next week in the next video. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Have fun with your business and bullet journaling, and I will see you in the next one. Love ya!